Hi everyone, Sir Janus here and welcome to another episode of Vine Synaptics TV. Today we are going to put focus on Quarter 4, Module 4, which deals with factors affecting rates of chemical reactions. So let's begin. For today's video, we have the following most essential learning competency, and that is, we are going to try to explain how the factors affecting rates of chemical reactions are applied in food preservation and materials production, control of fire, pollution, and corrosion. Now, let's have a quick review on the collision theory to find out paano nga ba nagkakaroon ng chemical reaction. Now, based on our previous discussions, we already know na in order for a chemical reaction to take place, nangangailangan siya ng two essential things. Yung una, it must have enough energy in order for a chemical reaction to take place. Yung ikalawa naman is that it needs to have the correct orientation para maging successful yung chemical reaction. Now, think about this one. Ano nga kaya yung purpose of cutting hot dogs before grilling or cooking? Ano kaya yung purpose nito? So, we will be answering that one at the end of the video. So, you may create your hypothesis kung ano ba yung purpose ng paglalagay ng mga slits na yan. Now, before proceeding, let us have first a quick review kung ano ba yung pagkakaiba between physical or chemical change. Now, first one, evaporation. Is it physical or chemical? Correct answer is physical change. How about for the next example, cooking meat? Is it physical or chemical? Then that is chemical change. Next one is rusting of iron. Is it physical or chemical? Correct answer is chemical change. This one, chopped salad. Is it chemical or physical change? Correct answer is physical change. Another example, corrosion of coin. Is it physical or chemical? So, correct answer is chemical change. How about melted ice cream? Is it chemical or physical? Then, it is undergone physical change. How about burning of wood? Is it physical or chemical? Correct answer is chemical change. How about for melted ice? Is it physical or chemical? Correct answer is physical change. Now that we have clearly separated the difference between physical change from chemical change, this time, here are the objectives for today's video. Yung una is we are going to try to explain how temperature, surface area, concentration, and presence of a catalyst affects reaction rates. Yung ikalawa naman is to identify how these rates of chemical reaction is applied in everyday life. Based on what we have discussed earlier, we all know that in order for a chemical reaction to take place, kailangan munang it needs two things, right? And this is governed by a collision theory. So ano nga ba yung collision? Collision is yung pagbabanggaan. So it states that atoms, ions, and molecules must collide in order to react. So no collision, there will be no reaction. An activated complex is a temporary unstable arrangement of atoms in which old bonds are breaking and new bonds are forming, and thus it needs two essential things in order for a chemical reaction to take place. So, of course, kailangan mo ng correct yung orientation kasi pag incorrect yung kanyang orientation, so hindi magiging successful yung reaction. So, as you can see, magkakaroon lang ng rebound. So, aside sa correct orientation, nangangailangan din yung isang chemical reaction ng tinatawag na activation energy. So, high activation energy means that few collisions have the required energy and the reaction rate is slow. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan merong enough energy para mabuo or mangyari or maging successful yung chemical reaction. So, here's a quick summary of the collision theory na nagpapaliwanag kung paano nga ba nangyayari yung chemical reaction. Yung una is that yung reactant substances must collide or kailangan magbanggaan. Yung number 2 naman is that yung reactant substances must collide in the correct orientation. And yung ikalawa naman, yung ikatlo is that yung reacting substances must collide with sufficient energy to form an activated complex. So as you can see, kailangan ng correct orientation and kailangan ng enough energy para maging successful yung isang chemical reaction. Now, the speed of different chemical reactions varies hugely. Some reactions are very fast and others are very slow. So, the speed of a reaction is called the rate of the reaction. So, paano mo ba ika-classify itong mga klase ng reaction? So, of course, yung rusting, andyan yung slow reaction, yung baking fast, and of course, yung explosion, wherein mga milliseconds lang or seconds lang, then that is a very fast type or has a very fast rate of reaction. Just a reminder, remember that reaction takes place when particles collide. Without collision, then no chemical reaction would take place. So you might be wondering, ano nga ba yung mga bagay na pwedeng makaapekto kung gaano kabilis or kabagal mangyayari ang isang chemical reaction? So anything that increases the number of successful collisions between reactant particles will speed up a reaction. So ano nga ba yung mga factors that will affect the reaction? Yung una is yung temperature, yung ikalawa is concentration, ikatlo naman is yung pressure of gaseous reactants, number 4 is surface area of solid reactants, and yung panghuli is by using a catalyst or enzyme. Now, let's proceed with how surface area affect the rate of chemical reaction. Now, for example, yung solid is split into several pieces. The surface area would increase. So, since na-increase yung surface area, ano nga ba yung mangyayari or paano nga ba maapektuhan nito yung rate of chemical reaction? Mapapabilis ba or mapapabagal? So, can you guess? So, as you can see, when you increase the surface area, so there is an increased area for the reactant of particles to collide with. So, ibig sabihin, the smaller the pieces, the larger the surface area. So, that means that more collisions and a greater chance of reaction would happen. So, ibig sabihin, mas mapapabilis yung rate of chemical reaction. So, that is why yung mga meat, diba, sa mga barbecue is kinakat into thin pieces para mas madali siyang maluto. So as you can see here, considering the effect of surface area on the rate of reaction, so this is the reason why meat is cut into thin pieces when cooking para mas madali siyang maluto at mabilis mangyari yung chemical reaction between the meat and the fire. This is also the reason why nilalagyan ng mga cuts yung mga hotdog or sausages para mas mabilis mangyari yung chemical reaction. So that more surface area can be in contact with the heat. The next one is temperature. So paano nga ba naapektuhan yung temperature, yung bilis or bagal ng particle collision? Can you take a guess? So as you can see, the higher the temperature, the faster the rate of a chemical reaction. So as you can see, in many reactions, a rise of temperature of 10 degrees Celsius causes the rate of reaction to approximately double. So bakit nga ba pag nag-i-increase yung temperature, nag-i-increase din yung chemical reaction? So as you can see, pag mas mataas yung temperature, yung particles have more energy. So ibig sabihin, yung mga particles is mas mabilis yung paggalaw and most likely or more likely na magbabanggaan sila. And since more likely na magbabanggaan, din ibig sabihin, more chemical reaction would take place. Now, ano nga ba yung application nito sa daily life natin? So, this is the reason why yung mga motorcycles or yung mga vehicles needs to warm up in order for it to function properly. Kasi as you can see, pag yung batteries is pinainit muna, pati yung mga makina, then it would be more efficient. The next factor that affects the rate of chemical reaction is that the effect of concentration. So how does concentration affects the rate of chemical reaction? Now, the higher the concentration of the dissolved reactant, the faster the rate of reaction. So you might be wondering, paano nga ba pag nag-increase yung kanyang concentration, paano nga ba nito pinapabilis or nag-increase din yung rate of reaction? Now, think about this one. Mas higher yung concentration, ibig sabihin, mas malaki yung chances na yung mga particles is magbabanggaan. And once na mas mapadami yung number of collisions din. Ibig sabihin, mas dadami din yung chances of a successful chemical reaction. Aside sa energy and aside sa correct orientation, scientists sometimes use a catalyst in order for a chemical reaction to take place or to make it faster or slower. Now, as you can see, when you talk about catalysts, these are substances that change the rate of a reaction without being used up in the reaction. So, catalysts never produce more product, they just produce the same amount more quickly. So, kung titingnan natin, kung gagamit ng catalyst, so as you can see here, different catalysts work in different ways but most lower the reaction activation energy. So, ibig sabihin, mas mapapabilis yung chemical reaction plus malolower yung need ng activation energy. This time, let us check how much you have learned from the video. For activity number 1, you are going to identify kung anong situation much higher yung reaction rate. So, then state the factor that affects the rate of reaction in each situation for the last column. Whether is it concentration, particle size, using a catalyst, and others. So you may pause the video while answering and press play to check the correct responses. So good luck. So for third one, enzyme added, and fourth one is low number of particle is equals to few collisions. And for the last one, between twigs and logs. So here are the correct responses between sugar cubes and sugar grains. Correct answer is letter B. So what affects is yung particle size. Number 2 naman is letter A, and what affects the rate of chemical reaction is temperature. Kasi much higher yung temperature, mas mabilis yung chemical reaction. For number 3, that is letter A, using a catalyst. And number 4 naman, letter B, concentration. And for the last one, pag pinag-uusapan is yung combustion or pagkasunog. Of course, letter A, yung mas mabilis. And what affects the rate of chemical reaction is particle size. So that's it for today's video. I hope you have learned and have fun. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe and ring the bell for you to be updated on the upcoming videos. So, I'm Synatics out.